Okay, I'm going to call the meeting to order. If we stand for the invocation and pledge, please. Linda, would you do the honors, please?
I will. Heavenly Father, we're so thankful once again that we are here for the first meeting of the year 2024. Dear Lord, we're thankful that we're still doing the business for the City of Hope. Lord, guide us and keep us as we endeavor to do your will, your way, in working for all of our citizens together. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mark?
Join me in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the board will review the minutes. December 5th, it's been a while since we met.
I move that the minutes of December 5th be accepted as presented.
Second.
And motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, we're going to recess for the public hearing. If we all want to go upstairs to the Cliff Auditorium, we'll continue the meeting up there.
This thing, it's going to take a sales tax. And that has to come to a vote by the citizens of the City of Hope. So that's where you guys come in. You know, what you want, what you don't want, what you think is too much, what you think is not enough. And the board's trying to get this figured out to see if we want to move forward. And if we did move forward, if it comes to that, we have to make that decision in a couple of months. We have to get a bond council to write language that goes on a ballot initiative that would be in November 2024, and then the citizens would vote on whether or not we would get a sales tax to do the things that we feel like we want to do. If the citizens vote no, it would all fail. If you voted yes, then we would go forward with what the board has been talking about. I think what the board is going to do specifically is after we collate all the data for the next 2 or 3 months, eventually we'll come out with a hard plan. And eventually you'll hear that hard plan. And exactly what we feel like the voters have asked us to do or not to do. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? All right, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor and turn it over to him and he'll open it up to a public comment.
I'd just like to say before we get started that investing into the city is what we need to be thinking about. I was just so proud of the courthouse located downtown. It just shows you what a sales tax will do over a short period of time and the beautiful building we have downtown. The same thing is with our park system. We need an influx of some money to get back to the level we want to be at, where we can be on the same level with other towns. When we see corporations come to town, one thing they look at is the recreation and what the city can offer in that park. And that's something I think we've done pretty well at. In my youth, when we built Kelly Fields, the softball complex, it was probably one of the best in the state. Well, it's kind of served its time. We need to go to the next step, and I think that's one thing JR and I and the board's looked at in how we can spend money. So we're going to open up the meeting now. If you'd like to come up and just state what you'd like us to see, we'll make notes of that, and then we can go from that. But if you do come up, I need you to state your name, your address, and then your comments about which way you want us to go. So if you could like to come up first and talk about our recreation and what we need. Yeah, come on. Over here comes one more. This is a holding pen right over here. Okay.
Good afternoon. My name is Marsha White. The address is 508 East 10th, Hope, Arkansas, Hempstead County. And I was kind of going over this letter today, and ever since I saw it on the Facebook page. Can I ask this question about the fire department? What is it that they are going to be kind of addressing?
What we're considering is a new fire department building.
A whole new building, new location,
Yes,
new whole
ma'am.
9 yards?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, again, I go with safety first, and fire department is a good topic. But when I look at this list, I feel some kind of way because we're looking at, I'm all for the soccer field with the water issue. I'd like to see that. But what's rubbing me kind of weird here is a pickleball. How many really know what a pickleball is? How many interested in pickleball?
It's the number
How
one.
many, and I didn't bring my youth tonight because I didn't know what this looked like, but every Sunday at the Northside Park, I have 21 plus kids. And so, you know, I've been pushing for Northside for a minute with a splash pad. So when I looked at this and saw splash pad way over in that corner, that grieved me to the point that I say, look, y'all, come on. It's 24, let's do something different. I've been a resident here, I'm 58 years young, and I can't feel the love for Northside at all. And I sat the whole year last year and just listening and praying and listening and praying. Well, this year I'm saying to you all, I'm gonna come and address some things out of love, meekness, humble, patience, that please, let me feel the love. I'm at that Northside Park every Sunday doing children's church. June and July, I'm there every Wednesday. A splash pad is not too much for me to ask for, I don't think, considering I've been paying tax dollars here for a good many years. New Millennium, Tyson Food, Walmart, I've been in there getting that done. So I would like to fill my dollars with that. But my thing, if I had to say tonight to sum it up, let's go. If that fire department, yes, I never really liked that location with the post office, but praise God, I came up under that and we enjoyed that. I'm ready for that to move on. Because when I think of hope, I want people to come here, wanting to be here. And when we did surveys, NAACP, Boat Swords, and some other groups in the community, we've been doing our homework. Y'all, you know, you've been seeing me sit here. But I've been shuffling through the ground like a little worm trying to make sure I dot my I's across my teeth. And I know what I'm saying and what I'm saying. I got youth that's saying, please, Ms. Marshall, can we get a youth group? I went to Prescott, Arkansas. Prescott don't have what we got in Hope. According to people and dialogue and all this good stuff when you do the paperwork, but yet still they have 2 good places for youth to hang out. I visit both of them and I know how they came about and whoop-de-whoop. They also got a water pad. So my thoughts, and I pray that you all can see your way to understand what I'm saying. This is hurt, grief, and all this kind of mixed emotion. Saying, please, hear me. I'm a person. I have feelings, I have needs. And it's just not my personal, it's for the people in the community. I've shared before with somebody how on the weekends, on Sundays, you got travelers coming through by Hope. And if those weeds were not there so bad, I don't know who property line that is. But we're the city of Hope. I know somebody can find out whose trees, and please get them thinned out a little bit better, because we got people that stop over there, and I go and love on them and give them whatever I got in my little snack room. And what I appreciate, if they had a place to refresh their little kids and stuff, I'm like, man, you know, I can only give you what I got in here, a little cold water, and I can turn the water hose on because there's a water hydrant right there to cool these travelers off. We need our Hope to say something to our travelers, to get them in here to stay. We got 2 good plants here. New Millennium, I'm happy to be an employee of that top paying monster out there. Tyson Food, we got this, but we don't have no real houses for people, and we definitely don't have no recreation. So I'm pleading, move splash pad, move remodeling the pool, and please open the kiddie pool, come on. When I go by there in the summer, I'm going to do you.
And just to let you know, that's not an order.
Yeah,
That's not a hierarchical order, that was just a list.
Yeah,
So
but the way it was wrote, it just was all.
I wrote it, so I apologize.
Yeah, well, it was all.
I apologize.
Oh, yeah, working it up. But I'm saying to you, please, let's do our fire department, let's do our soccer field, so they can do what they do. But then after that, let's go and do the north side splash pad. And then let's come back to the south side and redo that whole pool. If you go down there in the summertime, I'm gonna let y'all make it after this one. It's congested. It's a safety issue. There's too many babies in that one little spot. Looks like something that needs to be on a horror movie. So I'm begging, please, let's move some of this stuff around. I appreciate you for saying how you wrote what you wrote when you wrote it. But I'm saying it bothers Ms. White, and Ms. White is saying, for the love of God, let's right or wrong, y'all. Let's show some love up in here. I appreciate y'all for listening. Let's do something, my brother.
Okay,
It's hard to follow, I know. I'm Jody Coffey, 1909 Princeton Drive. And of course, I'm a recreation enthusiast, so it's hard to prioritize or whatever, but I'm definitely in favor of any and all that have been listed, but definitely stating that a multi-purpose gym to include an indoor aquatic facility. And a lot of places have been able to incorporate outdoor components as well to address the summer fun. But as far as the multi-purpose gym, it can be used for various ways: basketball, volleyball, pickleball, and I'd be glad to share about pickleball too with you because it is a fairly inexpensive sport to get started. A lot of places just use tape outside, and the netting's expensive. You buy a kit anyway. But as far as the indoor pickleball and that multi-purpose gym, you could do 3 pickleball courts and 1 basketball court. So anyway, those are the main things. And
so obviously you would know what our vote would be. Diana Hobart and Kelly Burns, they both helped me coach the team. We are a summer-only swim league. These kids have so much potential, but we only get about 2 months in the water, maybe. If they could have a year-round facility to swim, the potential that they have and have shown, because a lot of them have, you can see who's down here, several of them standing here have qualified and gone to the Junior Olympics. They can do it. They're swimming with year-round swimmers right now around the country. So they just what they can show that they can swim year-round, practice year-round against these other workers they could do. So my vote for these kids is a indoor aquatic center with outdoor facilities, maybe. That would be my vote as well. What do you think, Carter? This is Carter. This is my daughter, Sadie. She's been, first time we went to jail with her was in 2018. So we've qualified 5 years. Mine is kids swim as well. Kelly, Miss Kathy, Zoe, little Emily's down there. I think we're all in the boat.
And there's several more that could be here.
Yeah.
But the indoor rec facility, you know, I think the swimming pool that's provided year-round does more than just for a swim team.
Yeah, right.
I mean, therapy, me being in the medical field, non-pharmaceutical therapy. There's so many things, exercise programs, the ladies that still come and do the water aerobics every morning. You know, they can only come about 6 weeks. You know, it's either too cold or it's past time, and that's if everything stays up and running all summer. You know, I've swam in that pool since I was, anyway, many years, a little girl. I grew up on swim team, and so I've had a passion for it since I was a small child, and I've tried to continue it. It's really hard when you only get 6 weeks and you're competing against other kids who get so much more time, and you know, our kids just don't have the exposure that the other children do in these other towns that are no larger than our towns, but they do have these better and nicer facilities. So I understand baseball, softball, soccer are all huge sports around here. Swimming is not, but it could be.
Right. Yeah.
It is. It's the #1 best sport, you know, for your body.
It could bring in lots of revenue if we aren't able right now to host swimmings. We don't have swimmings. We've just got new lane ropes. Thank you all very much. So that, you know, we're going to try this summer to host a couple meets without. We just don't have the proper
bathroom
facilities.
We just don't have that.
We don't have that. But like she was saying too, all the things that it could be used for as well. Like, if y'all want to look at Pine Bluffs Aquatic Center, they have a great center down there. They have an indoor kids playground pool. I don't know, do they have a splash pad there? Or is it just the indoor pool?
I think it's just an indoor,
The
like,
indoor
little
kids area,
recreation area.
slides,
for toddlers
something
and
like
stuff.
that, but it's so very nice. But, you know, they could do birthday parties, you could do, I know these girls over here and guys could do their swimming for their marathons and stuff. Family reunions, I mean, you know, there's so many things that it could be benefited from. We would like to be able to host more meets and bring more revenue into the city and give these kids an opportunity.
I'd like to add something too, like on the teacher point of view of it and working with kids. Not every kid is a team ball player, and so this is something that I've done some research on. And you have kids with autism that are able to swim. You have kids that they might have some social issues where they don't always, you know, they can't get out there and play basketball, or they can't get out there and play soccer. Swimming is something that they can do. So just to add that little point in for kids that just aren't on the soccer field or aren't on the baseball field or the football field. You know, it's more of a non-contact, but it's excellent exercise for them as well.
Well, and with that being said too, the schools could start their own swim team. You know, we are just our own as a team, but the school could start a team, the college could start a team. I mean, you know, Hope could just have a huge, it could be so much. It could be so much. But, I really like to see something. We've wanted something for a long time. We do appreciate what we have, don't get us wrong. We just want to use something longer. Thank y'all.
So I'm non-voting on this, but I'm a lifelong resident of Hope, graduated from Hope High School, played sports. In my recent years, I've swam and done triathlons. Part of the big pull for me right now would be the swimming facility. My wife would love an indoor walking track for when it's cold. My mom would love an indoor walking track. She's got cancer, and part of her healing has been to go walk every morning, and they go to Walmart and try to walk. It's cold or raining or, you know, something like that. So it'd be a huge facility or a huge plus for them. But when I've trained and fellow people that train on similar things, we're having to drive to Arkadelphia or Texarkana. And it's just, I take pride in this area. I've lived here, I'm now raising a kid here, and I would love for her to have better opportunities than what I've had. And so an indoor rec facility would be high on my list. I love the idea of a nice fire department, something that shows we take pride in our citizens and our community, that looks really good, and that we take pride in our people that are waiting on us to take care of us. I would be in for a tax. I know it takes money to do this kind of stuff, and so I would be no opponent of that, and I would actually be a push to, I wish I had the opportunity, I probably did when I was a kid, to swim like these guys, but I'd love for them to have something better where they could do it all year long and go compete. And who knows what they can do in college or for their future, for their kids. And I feel like our park staff, love seeing y'all here, because what y'all probably struggle through with some of the stuff that y'all fight with every day. I would love to see something better for, I know softball's been big and baseball, and have a better facility, but just something that shows we take pride and that we're moving forward would be great for, that'd be my thoughts on it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Oscar Rodriguez. I live at 1601 East 5th Street here in Hope. I basically grew up here. I graduated here. I come here not only as a firefighter, I come here as a citizen as well. We have been talking about wanting to get a new station for a very long time. Not having a new station has crippled us quite a bit. It limits on what equipment we can put in the bays as far as trucks, because there's no clearance. So I come here on behalf of my department and myself and y'all is, we need a new department. We need a new building, because we're only as good as the equipment we have. And right now we are on basically old equipment. You look at all these other departments around here, they've got new trucks, they've got new equipment, they've got stuff. We deal with basically people that are in their worst times. And we can only help so much with the equipment that we have. For example, I was at the house fire last night. It was a complete loss. We definitely could have used a ladder truck there. Water deck guns can only reach so far, and they can't reach the back of the house. Ladder truck, we could have easily extended the ladder over the house and shoot water straight in there. I'm happy that the family got out, but if it came to, a ladder truck would have been a big help. And like I said, we're only as good as our equipment that we have, and we're asking to please help us get a new fire station.
Y'all looking around, I guess I'll come on up. Good afternoon or good evening. I am Sylvia Brown. My address is in the county 5031, I was in 7 West, however. I'm here certainly in my capacity as a community member, but also as president of our local NAACP 1612B branch, which of course encompasses Hope and Hempstead County. First off, I would like to support and thank the neighbors who are out here. A key foundation and tenet of the NAACP is civic engagement, community involvement. So congratulations and thank you all for coming to express your comments today. And certainly for those folks that had the phone tree and got those lines burning, as well as those thumbs burning too, to get folks out here. Generally when I introduce myself in a professional capacity, I tend to introduce myself as your neighborhood civic activist and community engagement specialist. A key part of community engagement is relational. And with the NAACP and our efforts to reach out to folks, it's a bit disappointing to find out how additional information would get out to folks who are not digitally connected, to folks who are not here to respond to this particular survey. And so I know that I've offered in the past to support in whether a volunteer or in a consultant capacity to enhance and support our civic institutions with their community engagement. More specifically to the public comments that we have here, and relatedly as well to community engagement. Every 10 years we complete a census. And that data in that census should inform our civic bodies about priorities and interests of community members, and then you go back and engage with the community to tighten up and streamline what those expectations are. In looking at census level data, we have in Hempstead County, particularly in Hope specifically, the precincts that have the highest number of youth are precincts 1 through 5. We have a population of about 20,000 in the county. 5,000 of those are youth 0 to 17. So as we think about what these particular priorities are, we've of course heard the pool, we've heard the splash pad. Let our decisions also be made by the data that's right here in front of us. to the point of how we pay for these things. On my particular survey, the question pertaining to would you support the City of Hope building the recreation facility? I checked no. I checked no with a asterisk because this also needs to be brought before the quorum court. I know that I've mentioned to Mayor Steele, particularly after we had the meeting around putting in the grant for the economic development tourism park grant, is that we need to bring in the county to this. The city cannot be the only entity that supports these enhanced recreation facilities or these enhanced products. And so it's critically important, I think, that we bring in the quorum court. 3 or 4 years ago, we had the Thrive Hempstead County Strategic Development Plan. Where is that plan? Again, informed by the data. The work has already been done. We need to bring these disparate pieces together, our civic institutions together, to really collectively do what the people are asking to partner with us on this, on these improvements. So, in closing, again, we have the data, we have the, I think we have the resources. I know that, you know, we've had the American Rescue Plan dollars, we have IJA, which is the Infrastructure Jobs and Investment Act. We have a lot of dollars that are floating out there, but it seems that the civic institutions, not just the board here, the city board, but even in Fulton, even in the quorum court, we're kind of floundering because either we don't have the expertise at the table or we're not reaching out our hand to ask. So I appreciate the opportunity certainly to have this, especially on the first meeting of the year, and we'll continue to look forward to engaging the city board as well as the other civic institutions, the quorum court, and you all, my neighbors, in reaching out and making sure Hope and Hempstead County are the best that they can be. Thank you.
I'm Judy Watson, live at 413 16th Street, and I just want to make sure in all this that we're thinking about our disabled population and our elderly population, and having indoor facilities for that, and also the softball or baseball field, softball field, to do some kind of miracle league that would be awesome to have here, where we could get Special Olympics involved in that and do some things with that. I also think the fire department is very high on the list because, I mean, I watched out my back door last night with the house burning, and you know, they couldn't get to it. I mean, you can see them trying, but they just couldn't get to it. So I think that's real important also.
Hi, my name is Anna Lee Powell, and can everyone hear me? Sorry, John. I live at 1201 Lester Drive, and man, this is exciting because whenever I moved to Hope a little over 10 years ago, there was a lot of rumblings about strategic planning, and then we got together as a community and worked towards the Thrive Plan, and then COVID happened. And what a bummer, because that really kind of it squashed a lot of the passion for some of those programs that all these committees worked really hard to get together. And so one of the things that I want to talk about tonight is that I represent Hempstead County Economic Development. So I do represent our entire county, but further than that, I think I represent Southwest Arkansas development from business and an industry perspective. And when we we talk about communities that are doing economic development very, very well, one of the number one things that they focus on is quality of life. And quality of life can be a laundry list of things. And everybody in different communities, they kind of design themselves on what they're passionate about. However, in Hope, we have lots of things that we can tout about, specifically our history. But we cannot continue to tout about our history without taking action to look to our future. And what I see needs to happen in order for economic development to continue to grow, our businesses will want to stay here, families will want to work here, children will want to play here, we need to shop here, and we need to dine here. But all of those things happen, shopping, dining, living, staying in hotels, and vacationing, all of those things happen around recreation. And so all of these things on this list, for the most part, involve some sort of recreation. I do not have a particular passion when it comes to recreation. I really don't even like to work out. So, but I know that it's important to have a healthy lifestyle in our community. And I have lots of friends that are extremely passionate about the outdoors and running and swimming. And we need to provide opportunities for our youth to do what makes them feel good in their arena. And today, this list has provided a laundry list of opportunities for us to reinvest in our youth. I do have a son. He's 3 years old. Guys, swimming lessons was a real issue for me because I had to pay a private price for my son to have his first year of swimming lessons at someone's private residence. And that is a disservice, in my opinion, to the youth of our community. They need to be able to be made available to learn how to swim in the event that they have an emergency for themselves in the future and they end up in water and need to know how to swim. So I'm in favor of all of these things, and I know that I can't have everything I want. And so I'm going to look to the experts at our city and the leadership on these committees to make some recommendations that are, number one, fiscally responsible for our community. And number two, well thought out about how to sustain ourselves for the future. And the two success stories that I hear about all the time, and they really kind of happened before I got here and then while I was here, but is when our community comes together for a tax, we win. And the two success stories that have happened that I'm directly affected by are Hempstead Hall and the wonderful experiences that we've been able to bring our youth through to schools and business and industry meetings. So that's number one, where our tax dollars worked for us. And then number two, the courthouse. And I believe that this is another example of if we would work together to pass this tax for our fire department, for everything listed on here, that we can continue to grow Hempstead County for the better, create a larger quality of life from birth to retirement. And I respect what people have said about those disabled. When you look at the data, I know the data has been brought up several times tonight. When you look at the data, we do have a large poverty community. We need something available to them at a low cost. And then we have a lot of disabled people in our community. We need to offer some things for them. And then lastly, we need to make sure that we are providing opportunities for our businesses and the leaders that work in those businesses to reinvest in our community through sponsoring sports teams and sponsoring fields. And if we have top-of-the-line facilities, our revenue will increase in our county and in our city, and it will be more sustainable. Our hotels will be more full, and we are a regional hub. We have the potential to, on the interstate, in 60 miles, there's a population of 370,000 people. A lot of those people are spending every dime they have to go play travel ball or travel something for their kids every single weekend, or to put all their money towards their hobby, whether it's hunting or fishing or hunting hogs like Ryan does. But I say that with love, and I want to see this happen for our community. It can be good for all of us in so many ways. And so I know I was lengthy, but I'm very passionate that this gets passed for the future of Hope. I moved here, I've invested here, I want to stay here, but this will keep people here too. So that's all I have to say.
My name is Lori Morrison, and I reside at 3312 Patmos Road. I was actually born here in Hope, Arkansas. I've been back for about 2 years now, and I am absolutely in awe seeing the passion from you guys, each and every group that have come up here to express what they want to see for our community. And that's first and foremost, our community. And I believe that the more that we come together and discuss these things and come to a collective decision, the further that we can go. I am actually in favor of anything dealing with kids, any recreation, any water sport, anything that will help our kids to find something that they love, that they have a passion for, and that they can be successful in. But I also in favor of our elderly, of our handicapped. I think that this list that you guys have put together is an awesome list. And I would like to see us do everything on that list, actually. And I feel that like it's possible. It's not going to happen today. It may not happen next year, but I think we could prioritize these things. We could get this sales tax law or bill, whatever it is, passed, and we could make a list and prioritize it, and let's go after it and make it happen. First and foremost, the fire department, 100%, I think that would be at the top of the list because the safety of our community should be what's most important. The fact that I heard her say that they could not get to where they needed to save those people, that's disheartening. And I think that our safety should be first. And no, I didn't just say that because one of my employees is in here, and if he goes back to his work and says the safety lady didn't say safety first, but in all honesty, safety is first. But in behind that, I feel that we could prioritize this list. I think that we can get each and everything on this list done as a community. The more that we educate our citizens on what we're trying to do, I think that we could put this list in order and put a possibility of a date. We could do this by this date, with perspective by this date. That will give every area of hope, the north side, the south side, every area of hope that it's going to happen. Not just to see money being poured in just one region. It makes us disbelieve that it's going to happen. And it makes us stop participating in meetings like this. As a whole, we can do it. And I think if it's done the right way, we could pass this tax and we can use the monies to get us to where we need to be. Hope can be a very great place to live. I love Hope. I really do. And I think that the people that live here, and there are people that want to move back here, if they see us progress in the way that I know that we can. So, I'll stop talking.
Go ahead, Dave. I want you to do this. Don't do it. Appreciate everybody coming out. I'm up here as Danny Watson, resident 413 East 16th, Hope, Arkansas. I'm a pretty new guy here. I've been here 46 years now. And young lady, you said you would like to see everything come into, you didn't use the word fruition. You'd like to see everything on the list come into fruition? Yeah, I would too. Fire department. Guys, I worked there years ago, many years ago, before any of y'all. It was old then. Fresh out of college, 1977. That thing was dilapidated then, the old station. And I know everybody, I know we, the City of Hope, we've been having to make the best of what we have. I do well know that the competition is unbelievable. I hear it all the time in my other job when I get back. 75 counties and municipalities, it is tough. You're going to get out of it what we put into it. Let's get it, and best I can say is try to narrow it down. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. There are a lot of people, when you have that three-letter word that starts with a T, ends with an X, they're kind of like this right here. I'm just saying, I'm being realistic. 3 times I have said that down. So do the best that we can to prioritize all the needs. We got some tremendous needs. Man, the fields, and we know about the Coliseum, what I've been trying to get done, and I haven't got that done yet. We don't have to go there right now. But all the other things, oh my goodness. Everybody do your best to be patient. Work as much as you can. Make sure you submit the sheets back so they can kind of have an idea. And I'm sure, like you said, there's going to be numerous meetings throughout the year. Am I correct? to try to narrow this thing down. Everybody be patient on here and hope and pray for the best. And I had some thoughts later. I kind of thought, just thinking out loud real quickly, I know we're not going to get into a tax base right now, but I'm just kind of looking at if we're looking at this tax base, just a thought, maybe going a little bit higher and maybe having a sunset on it. I'm just thinking out loud on it, whether that's something that could be workable. Anyway, thank y'all.
I am John Miller, 1701 South Elm. I work for Red River Record Service, so I'm throughout the community a lot. I also, 18 years ago, started the Hope Watermelon Festival Treasure Hunt, which donates money every year to the Clinton Primary for the kids, for the ones who don't get Christmas. So I'm in. I'm in on whatever y'all are doing. I've talked to Mr. Montgomery and he knows how I feel about it, but I didn't grow up in Hope. I come here in 2000, but Hope is home. When I started the treasure hunt, it was because I thought that it was about giving to the kids, because I believe that the kids are our future and our future is what we are. We all, a few of us, and I know that like these sheets, but it starts with every individual. I mean, you think tomorrow about what one said or what the other said, but you think about how many businesses are represented here tonight. So why not take the sheet with you and instead of filling it out, before you fill it out, make copies. Hand it out to everybody in there and say, hey, fill this out, and if you'll fill it out and give it back to me, I'll print it for you.
Say it, brother.
Think bigger. Because I believe the Lord put the treasure hunt in front of me as see what you can do and let me show you what I can do.
Come on, man.
So I'm with the one that thinks that every one of these things can have. If you think small, you're going to get small.
See it.
Think big and you'll wind up with bigger than you ever thought you'd have.
Yes, sir.
I'm invested in this community. If you don't know me and there's something I can do, I don't have money. I have enough money to pay the bills, but I do want to. And want to will get you a lot further than money will at certain times. If there's anything I can do to help any of you in this community, I'm not hard to find. But everybody's going to have to ante up. When it comes time for the tax, don't sit with your hands in your pockets. Encourage the people around you. Put it out there. Believe me, the platform I have with the treasure hunt, I'll be using it. Whether you agree with it or whether you don't. But I'm in. What fire department, I wondered why y'all was in that old building when I got here in 2000. I worked a wreck south of town. I drive a big rotator at times from Red River. They waited for Hope Fire Department to get there, and I got there about the same time. They brought a ladder truck. The ladder truck was so old, was not so old, but older to the point it wasn't stable enough to do the job. And I wound up using a rotator, which wasn't what was needed to do the job that if the fire department had a proper ladder truck that they should have, there would have been a problem. You're going to get to the point, how many lives are worth it? How many kids are worth drowning because they don't know how to swim? The aquatic center to me seems like the elderly. Rainbow of Challenges. based out of Hope. Kids come from miles, different towns around. I mean, I didn't know this till a while back. To be trucked in here to learn different things. Do you think the Rainbow Challenges were as big as they are when using the Aquatic Center? The elderly when using the Aquatic Center? I'm in for anything that anybody can think that would help them do. You come find me, I'm in.
I'm Edmundo Dominguez, 1300 South Fulton Street here in Hope. I'm currently the assistant soccer coach and cross country coach at the high school, Hope High School. I was here, you know, I'm a big sports person, and I was here a lot of it because of the soccer fields. We needed a lot of improvements, and the city has come a long way. You know, fix some of the small things, but you know, hearing everybody, I think our biggest problem is not about what we want, what the city needs. It's about becoming one. What the kids need or the community need as one person. Not about, you know, my community, your community, or your event, or your activity, whatever you're doing. And you know, like I said, I'm a teacher, and I hear this a lot from the students. They always finding a way, you know, they want to go pro, you know, different areas, not just sports. Swimming, you know, I've been hearing about the swimming team from years, you know, from the school. And I think something that we could do as a community is about reaching out to our businesses, our big, like, you know, I brought up Tyson Food. Because without our community, Tyson wouldn't be here. New Millennium wouldn't be here. That's the people we need to get in these meetings also. Some of those, you know, high personnel that could come hear this and help us out. Because they can put a lot of the money that is needed to get this, not just the taxes, you know. But that's something I have to say. And I think we do need a lot of improvement, just not for the kid or community, younger community, but everybody in the community. Just we need a lot of, you know, I didn't grow up, I wasn't born here in Hope, but I feel from Hope, and I love Hope so much that, you know, I would do anything from Hope, and I want to keep bringing things back and have a good community that everybody would feel proud of. And people would come, you know, enjoy, not just enjoy, you know, you go around the state, the only thing you're known for is we had a president, he left, and the watermelon festival. There should be something else that we should be known in 2024, not just those two things, you know, that, but that's all I got to say.
Is there anybody else who'd like to speak before we adjourn? Yes, ma'am. Come on up here.
Look, this is all I want to say. I love all this, and I do want to see all our stuff done. If y'all look around, we got a lot of abandoned buildings. People just flipped the old welfare station to put this indoor facility with the pool and all the track. Can we hope by that they'll take off some of the money off the table?
There you go, yeah.
Okay, and then when we get through with that, go on over there to that Porter's building and do something else called a youth facility. We got abandoned buildings here that need to be utilized. Probably still got good roofs and good toilets. If you got good roofs and good toilets, you can work it.
Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, well, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, I just want to thank everybody for coming. A lot of good things were said today. Nothing I do will be perfect, believe me, I know that. But I'll try to work hard for you to collate what you guys want. My job is to work for the board of directors and work with our city departments, be kind of a go-between and with the citizens as well. And I'm trying to do that the best I can, but I'm not perfect. I always like correcting just a few, at least not correcting, but I want to let people know the facts about something. So it's true, we don't have a ladder truck today. And it's true, we used to have a ladder truck up until 4th of July. Was it 4th of July when our ladder collapsed? And it's true that ladder truck is old, and it's true that it was malfunctioning maybe at the time, and that we spent a lot of money over the last couple of years getting everything fixed so that could work, get the nozzle fixed on it, and then it collapsed on us 4th of July. And the board has already put money in the budget for a new ladder truck this coming year. So the fire chief, he's already on looking for that. So I just wanted to make sure the citizens knew that. And also, this is the first of a series of meetings. So however imperfect this meeting was, hopefully we'll get better at it. Y'all gave us some great ideas. Ms. Sylvia, I'd love to have your help and support in pushing out more information to our communities. Also, the idea about going to some of our local businesses, maybe, hey, Miss Anna, you and I can get together and we can take this kind of idea to some of the CEOs and leaders of our community businesses and see if we can get them on board too, and just see what they think about it. And but whatever idea you may have that you think would help, please give me a phone call, 870-777-6701, and ask for J.R. Wilson. I'll be glad to listen to what you have to say, and we'll try to do this the best we can. And it's true, we all participated in Thrive. In fact, Steve Montgomery, our board member now, was the mayor at the time, who kind of spearheaded all of that. And the main thing I remember coming out of Thrive, one of the major things was a rec center. That was one of the highest things that came out of that deal. COVID did hurt us. And then, of course, we found out the county courthouse was in a lot of bad shape with asbestos. It wasn't financially feasible to repair. So we all got behind the county to support a tax to help them purchase the building and renovate that. And they had that tax out for 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And then it sunset, and they got that paid off. And so now we're past that sunset in about a year or two. So now we're looking for that next project. We try not to put 2 huge projects on our community at once because it becomes a real tax burden, and that gets people upset. So we want to be sensitive to all that. But I just wanted to say thank you to each of y'all for everything you said today. And thank you so much. I'm going to turn it over to the mayor. He probably has something he would like to say as well.
Well, I can just say I'm excited for the enthusiasm here tonight. I think this is something that the board's been looking at for a couple of years. Like you said, we were trying to get it going for the courthouse. We decided to wait our turn. But the way we project this into the community is very important. So when we start this project, talk to your friends and tell them about the good things that have happened. Because there will be some people against it for sure. But we need to sell this. I believe Hope needs it. We need to continually moving forward, continually improving. We've had a good track record in recreation, but now it's time to take the next step. So we'll go back downstairs. Y'all can come downstairs. The board meeting, we'll be talking about sewer rates. I know everybody's excited about that. But I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thanks for coming. Continuing project. Let's stick together on it. Thank you. And we'll move on to item 5. Is that what we're in?
Yes.
We're talking about the appointments.
Yes.
Could we, what was board, would you like to recess or the appointments are Hope Arden Light, Dennis Ramsey, planning and zoning is Clark and Catherine Cook.
Oh, that's planning and zoning.
But what this is, Mayor, is, it's so Hope Water and Light has one commissioner that has termed out by term, and that was Ramsey's position. So he's termed out, so that position is up for reappointment. And Mr. Ramsey did say he would like to be reconsidered. Then we have the Planning and Zoning Commission. 2 people have reached their tenure. That's the Ms. Clark and Ms. Cook positions. And I've spoke to both of them, and both of them would like to be reconsidered by the board. And both of these positions are board appointments and confirmation. The board does, the city board does this. The next position available is Hope Housing Authority, and Ms. Kim Hollis's position termed out, and they talked to Ms. Hollis, and on this one, the board doesn't appoint. Hope Housing Authority actually appoints. And they actually reappointed Ms. Kim Hollis. So she's being nominated by the commission.
I thought they nominated you.
Yeah, well, under the law, it's called appointment, and y'all's responsibility is called confirmation. Yeah,
Okay.
so y'all can confirm their appointment or not confirm their appointment. And then the last one, we have a tourism commission, a position, that's the Luker position that is termed out. And here, the tourism commission, they appoint, and it comes before the board for confirmation. And right now, we don't have their appointment, but they are planning to do that appointment on the 9th. So it should, that particular position then should come to you from the tourism commission at your next board meeting. I turn it over.
Can we do them all, do the top one?
Yeah, I just say do them one at a time.
One at a time.
And y'all can go into executive session for appointments if you desire to. That's the board's right under the Arkansas law.
What's the will of the board? Does anybody want to go into executive session, or do I hear a motion to reappoint Dennis Ramsey to the Hope Water and Light?
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion, second, any discussion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the 2 of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Ms. Clark and Ms. Cook, 2 positions. Make a
So
motion.
moved.
Second.
Motion second to approve those appointments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then the last one is the one for the Hope Housing Authority, just Kim Hollis. That's just following up with Housing Authority recommendation.
Make a motion to confirm.
Second?
Motion second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and we'll pick up on the tourism after the meeting, okay? Okay, I think item 6, we're going to talk about it, but the ordinance will be read at a later date.
Yeah, I wanted to let y'all know, after looking very more seriously at the numbers and then running out some amortizations on my own, I just thought, that's a pretty high rate, and we don't need that much money. So that led me to call ANRC about this 32% increase that they were requiring. And after getting a hold of the analyst that actually did that figure for us, it come to find out they used 2020 audit numbers to produce their analytical projection that we'd have to go up 32%. However, our rates went up in 2021. So I informed him that since they looked at their projections, we actually had a rate increase in 2021. And as many of y'all know, the Hope Housing Authority, they weren't actually paying everything they should have been paying. And we got that worked out this last August. And that got turned in, and Hope Water and Light helped us with that billing, and we got that all worked out now. So we have some additional revenues that wasn't considered in that rate requirement they were going to require us to do to get the loan, to get that $3.488 million. So what I'd like to ask the board, I just wanted to introduce you to this topic again. We have signed a schedule of intent. We have to close on our loan. We need to do it by June. I think end of June. If we don't close, we lose the rate, and the rate would go up. Right now, we've got a $3.48 million loan at 1.75%, but we must close in June. And we have a list of things to do, and I've been doing all those list of things. And one of the things that's on our schedule to do is we have to increase the rates as ANRC determines. As what they determine, so they can get their money back, so we can make the payments. So this is where we've kind of run into a little discussion now, and I think the person doing the analytical work understands maybe we need to look at that analytics, and he's going to do that. And so I'll come to y'all next board meeting and give you the final number that ANRC says we're going to have to do. And I'll have the ordinance updated for you to include that number. And generally, what we've always done in the past, if it comes out in some weird sense, we've always kind of gone up to the next maybe quarter of a dollar. But if y'all would rather me just go up to a tenth of a cent, I can do it however y'all want to, really. But I'll have that prepared for y'all to make a decision, because we need to make a decision by the end of January. That's on the schedule of our closing documents. That's one thing we got to tick off by the end of January. And then we got some other things to do, and finally we get to June, get the closing accomplished. So if y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. This little table will at least give you, if we did go up the rate they were talking about, and this is rounding up to the nearest quarter dollar, this is what the increase would be in that table, so you can see it. And but I think this is going to go down, so that could be a good thing.
But the debt service charge, that still would remain the same?
No, the debt service is going up that same percentage rate. The debt service and the O&M both would go up.
No, I'm saying that would still remain the same as you have it printed at the $14.
No, because that's a 32% increase plus rounding up to the nearest quarter.
Okay.
So if they tell us we only need a 20% increase, that'll change.
Okay.
Come down.
It'll be a better number.
Okay.
It'll be a better number.
Yep. That's good. Glad you got that. That helps Citizens Hope will. Okay, any other questions about that before we move on? If not, we'll move on to the next one, item 7, change of commerce.
Yeah, Miss Christy Burns let me know, and she couldn't be here tonight. She had some things to with her kids and stuff, and I told her this wasn't that big a deal. This is really a renewal of a contract. The wording has changed a little bit. I came and cleaned up a few things, and Christy and I discussed them, and I turned it over to Randy to look at and Christy to look at. We all agreed to this verbiage. Very little verbiage was changed, just minor things. And we'd like to ask the board to let us renew this contract under these terms. And if you approve this, we'll get this signed right away, and we'll move on with the new contract.
I think it's been a good partnership with the chamber and the city so far. Christy's done a really good job in promoting the city. So is there any questions about this before we go in?
No, but in the past, we've talked about possibly, as well as with the beautification committee, coming before the board and presenting what she's done or the chamber has done on a quarterly basis.
Yes, and we didn't do that, and that was my fault. We did have one meeting this year where she came and presented, and and I think we had talked. We said quarterly, and then maybe we talked about biannually.
Well, that's fine.
Is that correct?
At some point.
Yeah, biannual, is that the right
term?
But yes, and that I do agree with that, and we could actually put this in the services to be provided. I could add on number 6. I could actually add that in maybe twice a year, come before the board and give the board an update.
Okay.
I agree. That's a great idea.
Miss Amber, don't let me forget to add that into the contract. Sometimes I can't read my own writing.
Okay. That'll be added to the contract. I guess, any other questions about it before we go on? Like Steve Schmidt down there, so keep on going. Keep on. Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve the contract? OKR can sign.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Thank you. We move on to item 8.
Yeah, I'll ask Scott. Scott, can you come up here to the podium? Is that possible? We're talking about your wastewater declaration of surplus property. Scott is here to, we want to declare a surplus of 2000 Ford F-250. You see the VIN number and unit number there. 24 years old with 250,000 miles. It's been out of service for several years and no longer useful. And so we need a declaration of surplus for the city to be able to sell it legally. And we would sell it at the highest bidder. And Daryl uses a company, an online bid company to do that for us that meets Arkansas law. And we would do that and get the most amount of money we could for it, and then put that into our fund for a new truck.
Long way to come to tell us we wore out, isn't it?
Please, would you like to say anything to the board?
I don't have anything to say about it. You said it all. It's just, I mean, that's what it's an old truck that we've been having since I started. So it's put some miles on it and some wear and tear on it, and it's ready to retire.
It's been out of service. Does it run?
No.
At all? Okay.
I can say one thing, y'all get the good out of them.
Oh, yeah.
They're pretty warm.
We got a pretty good maintenance tank.
You're not helping our sale price any.
No. I've seen the truck.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions about the, moving on to Better Truck of Hope?
Make a motion to declare surplus.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Scott.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Item 9, Joe.
Yes, I'm going to ask the fire chief to come up to the podium and talk to you about a grant possibility that he's run across and would like to make application for. Chief.
Recently, I was informed, I think everybody heard of Firehouse Subs, Volta Chain. They do grants, award grants, so I'm asking permission to apply for a grant for them. Grants, depending on what you ask for, they average anywhere $15,000 to $35,000 is what they normally give out. So anything $50,000 and over, they'll kick out. It's not a matching grant either, so. Thought it might be a good deal just to try it, see what we might come up with. Just ask permission to apply.
And if you can see in your packet, he's looking at maybe A1 radios, additional SCBAs, maybe extrication equipment, meters for detecting gas or carbon monoxide, whatever the chief, as he does his inventory, what he feels like he needs the most and he thought would be most competitive for the grant. We'd write the grant and get it sent off and see if we could get some free money to purchase those things with.
Questions? Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Good luck. Good luck. All right. Your turn.
All right, just wanted to bring up a few things. You know, if we continue on this path of maybe trying to do our improvements, fire department, we've already got an engineer working with us on that. Our city engineer has been helping with that, who's contracted with the city, at least for, he's kind of on retainer for general things. We haven't contracted with him specifically for the fire department, but he's been helping us draw up some preliminary plans and cost estimates and things of that nature. But we thought if we move in that direction, if the board decides to move in that direction, we'd probably just stay with him as the engineer, because he's been working, helping us for free all this time. Now, the general park stuff, I've talked with 2 engineering firms, both out of Little Rock. One was ETC. I think many of y'all met them at the board meeting, and the other one is McClellan The one I really like, and I think we talked to a lot of cities, and they seem to have some really good reputation. Not that the other one doesn't. Was McClellan Engineers. They do some big things, but they also work with a lot of smaller communities, and they work with airports, and they do a lot of things. And I know Daryl has been getting a lot of good feedback on McClellan about airports and maybe considering them in the future. And we just thought that if the board would think it'd be worth our while, maybe we could try McClellan Engineering on this project. They do these types of projects. Done them for Bryant. They brought down and presented to me. And the way these things work, they work differently for each engineering firm. So, for example, ETC is willing to do some things for free up front. But if we end up getting this off the ground, it's a pretty hefty bill. I think they said around 18%. Where McClellan, they charge for their time up front, and you're going to be out that money if this doesn't get off the ground. But if it does get off the ground, the percentage is a lot lower, and the amount we've already spent is part of that percentage. If it did get off the ground, I think McClellan probably would be cheaper in terms, but we don't really look at money in terms of engineering, even though I think it makes sense to look at it a little bit. We don't, the state law does not require us to bid this type of thing out, these kind of professional services, that the board can choose who they want. I would recommend McClellan. If McClellan is willing to come down to the next board meeting and present to you, if you'd like for them to come and talk to you about things they've done. And if y'all would like for me to set that up, I'll be glad to. But of course, if you'd like me to set up anything else with anybody else, I'll sure try to, best I can. But that would be my recommendation, that I invite them to come down and y'all meet them, and then maybe we could make a decision after that, if you think there would be, because what they'll do as we present to the public, they'll start preliminary drawings based on what people are saying. Well, here's something, here's what it would look like, here's what it may cost, and we can keep kind of everything moving down the road. Y'all can make final decisions, oh, that's maybe a little too much, so scale it back a little bit, or however y'all want to do it. But they'll keep us with and they'll come and help us meet with citizens, and they've done that before. They'll help us meet with committees. They'll be here to help meet with committees and see if y'all appoint committees, which I think we've already talked about appointing some committees, about helping design something particular. They would be involved with that committee in helping design what the committees feel like would be good. Again, it would all come to the board of directors for final approval or not. But that's the value they kind of bring to it. And they keep cost estimates going, and they keep drawings so you can see the conceptual, how it might look.
I think we're kind of on a time crunch for this election to be in November. I think we need to be moving forward, at least getting somebody on board, like you said, to come to the board, to the public hearings and to the board and present different options.
Now, I would just say they may not come to all public hearings because that's going to be quite a few, but they're willing to meet with committees. They're willing to talk with us about whatever public hearings develop. We can send them information.
Yeah. Well, we can always bring them in, and if we go another route, we can. But
sure.
We need to start talking. So, fine with the board if we get them to come next board meeting.
Sounds good.
Any problem?
All right.
Okay.
I'll invite McClellan. The next thing I'd like to ask you is to allow me, I've been working really closely with Friday, Eldridge, and Clark. They're a bond counsel firm. Of course, we'd have to have a bond counsel firm. If this ends up going to the voters, the bond counsel, these lawyers that are specialized in writing the ballot initiatives and making them legal, getting them approved, this is what they do. Now, they don't charge us anything for writing this up if it fails. If it fails, as long as they haven't had to come down more than a couple times, so they wouldn't charge us anything. If it gets off the ground and we get voters to approve the tax, then they would be our bond counsel. They'd want us to sign a contract with them, and then they would get a percentage for their legal work and doing all the bond work with the bonding company that we'd have to have an underwriter to write the bonds for. If that sense to everybody, we've used these guys in the past. I think they may have used Rose Law Firm in the past. We've used Friday, Eldridge, and Clark in the past. There are a couple other firms out there. The names are slipping my mind now. They've come to talk with me as well. This is a group that I've worked with, and they run a lot of numbers for me and help me just pick up a phone call. And they're also doing our Tyson. So you'll see Taylor Marshall pretty soon because they're doing the Tyson stuff out here. So I'd like to also, that they're willing to come down next week as well. We could have 2 presentations for you, one on engineering, one on the bond council. They could explain better to you exactly what they do. I'm kind of giving you a small thumbnail of that. But if you would approve me to do that, I'll set up a time for them to come down next meeting as well, and y'all can hear from Friday Eldridge and Clark. And it'd probably be an attorney named Taylor Marshall. Sounds good.
Yeah, let's go and do that.
All right. And then I wanted to pass along that we have received from Taylor Marshall, that bond council I was telling you about, we have received information about the Tyson Chicken Initiative. They do want to proceed with industrial revenue bonds not to exceed $75 million. They want to bring this to the meeting, next meeting, January 16th, for the board to approve this industrial revenue bond. And I'm not an expert on this, but just to let the citizens know, and anybody can chime in who would like to, what this is, it's a legal maneuver under Arkansas law that allows a company like Tyson to deed their property over to the city, and it becomes in the city's name, and they can do what's called Act 9 revenue industrial bonds, and those bonds, they're responsible for them, they have to pay them back, but they become like a tax-free municipal bond. So it tends to get more investors, and it tends to be a better rate for the borrower. Now, so that's what it does. We take the property, but the city is not responsible. It is a special obligation on them. It is not an obligation to the city. If they fail to make their payments, the city is not on the hook. And again, Taylor, when he comes down in 16, he'll explain all this to you and say, make everybody feel comfortable. But this is something we've done in the past. We've done this with, who was up before Danson?
We did it with out of college, too.
Did it out of college. And we did it.
Pacific.
Georgia Pacific, we did it with Georgia Pacific. And I'm sure the city's done, those are the 2 I'm aware of. In fact, we just signed over when Georgia Pacific ended up finally selling their property to Danson's. They didn't realize we still had ownership of the property, so they found out in the sale, and we had to, right before Catherine left, about that last year, we were having to sign the deed back over to them so they could go through with the sale of the property.
What does this do as far as on property taxes?
Well, that can be negotiated. And I don't know what they're going to propose, but what is always, and we'll talk with Ms. Anna, but what I was always told by Steve is that typically they've done a 50% over 10 years. That's been historic what's done in Hope. What, Ms. Anna, would you like to address this?
A property tax abatement is what you're referring to, and that is a separate initiative to this. The property tax abatement, to my understanding, is already in place, and that was passed by the Supreme Court early on.
Okay, all right, okay. As long as
So I
the schools are.
reviewed the document recently, but this is a separate issue, and it does not affect revenue for the city or for the county.
Okay.
And that definitely may be a county thing, especially since it'll be built in the county. Well, this is built in the city. I don't know. But Taylor.
Yeah, all property taxes go through the county anyway, so, but yeah, so as long as the county, I mean.
Taylor will be here to actually delve down into that pretty deeply, and he can tell us if there's any concern there.
That's all I'm saying.
But this is an Act 9 bond coming through you, and it may be accurate that the property tax would be an abatement from the county. That may be accurate.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. If Ms. Anna says it, she.
No, that's correct.
I make mistakes too.
But we'll confirm with the bond council, and they'll be here next week to make sure y'all know about that.
Okay.
We could find a way to add 10% to that. We could do a lot of the stuff that we had talked about earlier.
All right, that's right.
They might not get you. Yeah, I wouldn't get you.
In lieu of property taxes.
We're going to sponsor a soccer field.
Yeah.
We could put their name on some stuff.
I think we'll be on the whole field.
Or serve wings every game. I don't know. We'll figure
Have you
something
idea
out.
what the length of the bond may be?
I do not know that. I don't think that was in the proposal they talked to us about. But I have heard, and this is more rumor than fact, that they're probably going to underwrite it themselves. Tyson will probably underwrite it.
That's what I understood it.
Yeah.
fairly quick, right?
Yeah, so that would save them a lot of fees, underwriting fees.
All right, we'll move on. Any comments from the city, from the board here before we go to citizens' requests?
I just had a
I
question.
have a couple more things too.
Oh, do you?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you know, the statement of financial interest has been mailed to each one of you and all of our commissioners and all of the commission members. And it was mailed last Friday, and it is due in the city clerk's office by January 31st. And if for some reason any commissioner, anybody who's a commissioner on any city board or city commission or any board member and the city attorney, you have to fill out this statement of financial interest and get it to the city clerk by January 31st. And we just maintain it in a file, but if the state comes and audits that file, we have to have it in that file.
And I'm assuming we can request last year's.
Yes. And she told me to put that on there. If you need last year's, we'll get it to you. So just call Amber if you need your last year's, and we'll give it to you as it go by. And then I wanted to mention, is Miss Sylvia Brown still here? There. Would you like to talk about what you sent me on the, and I lost the last sheet, I don't know where it went.
Maybe the flyer.
Yes, the flyer, the MLK service, Dave service.
Sure, good evening. So,
Oh, here.
So, yes, I shared with the city manager as well as by email to board of directors members that the annual MLK observation will be happening this week, or not this week, but this month, the third Monday is nationally celebrated, and in working in support from our elders in the community, expanded to 2 days. Sunday, January 14th, will be an interfaith reflection and commemoration, and that will be at Providence. And then you have on Monday, the 15th, will be the actual recognition from 10 until 4. My colleague here, Marcia White, she's also first vice president of the NAACP 6012B passing out programs there. So our theme is Beloved Community 2.0, Unity, Service, and Transformation. And the expansion to Sunday, and really throughout the both days, is an understanding that this program, as with any program that's engaged with Martin Luther King Jr. and broadly the Black American community, is for all citizens and all residents. And so certainly on the Sunday event, having folks from various denominations and others who would like to reflect on how Martin Luther King Jr.'s principles have been inculcated or working in their lives, and what it means going into 2.0, into the 21st, 22nd century. And then in that Monday, transitioning from usually at Rising Star Baptist Church to Mount Zion CME, to be closer to the Vander Lloyd housing facilities in order to bring that program to the community, and we'll do a march slash parade within that 2-3 block radius of Hickory Street over to Laurel, where the Vander Lloyd homes are, and then back up to the church, and then have a traditional commemoration, and as an addition have a tailgate slash resource fair where folks from social services to community-based organizations can set up, share hot dogs, hot chocolate, what have you, but really about, I think Edmundo mentioned, and others upstairs, that this is about remembering and really embedding what the spirit of MLK's work has been and what it means here in the modern period that we're in. So thank you for acknowledging that, and glad to share that detail.
Thank you.
Mayor, are you through now?
Yeah.
Any comments from the board before we go to citizens' requests?
I had a question.
Okay.
I just needed to know where we stood with the drainage issue over in front of the school on 6th Street.
So we've met with the state and the street department, the wastewater department, myself, state contractor, we've all met, we've got a discussion. The state is looking into one possibility, we haven't got the answer on that yet, but in any case, we're gonna get it fixed. The view is right now, the best way to fix it is to cut the new curb. So that water's all kind of designed to drain towards where the walkway is for the kids in the flagpole. And they're thinking about making that a low profile curb so the water could run there and then run right down the street and then head to the drains. And that's, we think, is the best way to fix it. We've asked, our point of view was, well, this is not the contractor's fault. The contractor built it as engineered. Our point of view to RDOT was, this was an engineering failure. They didn't quite take into account pushing water onto the school. So we've asked them if they could, because they're expecting us to pay, we think it's going to be $11,000, $12,000 to do this. But the initial thought is we're going to have to pay for that. But we've asked the state to consider that they made an error and it cost us and hurt us, and maybe they could at least help us. So that's getting run up the flagpole to maybe people with certain pots of money. They'll make that decision. I don't know if we're too hopeful how that comes down. We're waiting for that to come back down to us, and then we can make the final decision. And I can let the board know at that point what the change order may cost us. Now, talking with the contractor and with RDOT, sometimes they're saying we're going to have change orders in the future. Contractors tell me, we've got some built-ins that aren't going to be that much, and maybe we can, at the end of the day, this may all wash out. I wouldn't.
So I guess the ultimate question is, how long will it take for us to fix the problem that exists?
Once we get the way to go and the money,
So
I don't
we
think
can't move until we hear that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll take that long. It just needs to be dry, obviously, and the weather needs to be right. But I think we can cut that curb and do the profile pretty quickly.
Probably a couple of days.
Well, I realize that. I just realize how the project has moved up to this point.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm afraid is going to be left on the city to be waiting on somebody else. Just like we waited 2 years on AT&T to come move their lines, and it cost us almost double the cost of the original project. So that's what, and I hate to see the city or the school suffer during that entire time while we have to wait on somebody else to make a decision to be able to help them.
And I agree with that. And we've talked about temporary fixes. We talked to but we're really trying to wait on this information to come back. Once we get it, we can. If they tell us, hey, this is going to be 2 months, we can do a temporary fix. We've figured out a way to maybe keep the kids out of the water until we can get it fixed. But we'll be Johnny on the spot with it as soon as we can be, and we'll go as quickly as we can. And I'll bring that to the board, and we'll move forward as quick as we can.
Okay.
I just can't believe that the city's going to put the bill on this, because it wasn't our fault.
Well,
at all.
Right, and that's our point of view. We've believe me, we've stated that to the people we communicate with. The actual grant program, the state aid street is, all they do is X amount of money. I think it was $400,000. The city's responsible for the rest. That's their position. And also what we got for free was the engineering, and all that stuff didn't cost us anything. So they gave us the
not yet.
Wait, no,
that's not yet.
It wasn't free.
Yeah, but I guess they did the engineering. Their engineers did it.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a cash money coming from us on it. And plus they give the $400,000 towards the project. That's their, but obviously there was a mistake. And I don't know if they didn't come out here and survey it correctly. I don't know if maybe the survey got off. They didn't take elevations. I just have no idea. Or maybe they relied on elevations off Google Earth. I have no idea what caused the problem. But there is a problem, and we've met with the school too, and we're going to solve this problem. And I think the school's on board with what we're trying to do. They understand it. And we got in the street, we just fixed the plumbing
Got
issue.
your sewer fixed.
Yeah, so the sewer now is fixed. Some of that was their problem, but we also found a problem where it was going into the main. We got that fixed too.
Trevor, we do have a commissioner closer to us now.
Yep.
Well,
But we're working through that at Hope lightning speed, whatever lightning speed is to this process.
keep Centurion open, right back check.
Yes, sir.
I don't like the way this is going. Do we have a city attorney?
We do have a city attorney.
We might need to bring him in on this. Because I tell you what. Oh, my. Okay.
That really put the project way down the line. Start getting legal.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's move on to better things. And there is,
That's how you be thinking about March 15th.
okay, anybody else, anything else from the board? Okay, citizen request. Anybody have anything to share with us, some good news?
Yeah.
All right, I like that. Come on.
Marsha White, need that address again? One
more time.
Hope, Arkansas, proud to be all right off Edgewood, mobile home. But anyway, to add to the MLK celebration, we asking anybody that will and can to patronize us, 50 cents for a pen and $20 for a t-shirt. I know you don't wear t-shirts all the time, but after you wear it, then they sleep in it. Appreciate y'all.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything else coming before the board? See some pointing going on.
I was just asking Miss Anna to come see me before she leaves.
Okay, if not, thanks everybody for coming. We're adjourned.